Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Gyan Bhakti. We focus on spirituality, Vedanta, and Sanatana Dharma. Our, please subscribe our channel for the mystical meanings of these scriptures and daily satsang. Our humble prostrations to the all-pervading Brahman or God, our worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayananda Ji Maharaj, all sages and scriptures, and to the divinity in each of you. We are currently exploring the scripture Mysticism of Mahabharata. Commentary is by Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda Ji and narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. Today we are starting the episode Swargarohan Parva. When Yudhishthira entered the heavenly world, to his great surprise, he saw Duryodhana, who had been his terrible enemy during life, seated happily on a dazzling throne. Then he looked all around for his brothers and Draupadi, but he couldn't see them anywhere. In despair, he cried, "How is it I do not see those virtuous brothers of mine, but I see this vicious personality enjoying heavenly bliss?" Narada smiled and chided him for carrying those memories of earth to the heavenly world, where such human values are transcended. He told him to forget about his brothers and just relax and enjoy heaven, as Duryodhana was doing. But Yudhishthira refused, insisting on being reunited with his brothers wherever they were. Soon a messenger came to escort Yudhishthira on that journey. As the aerial car moved through space, Yudhishthira looked around him, expecting to see his brothers at any moment in one of the most beautiful and dazzling portions of heaven. However, to his great despair, the filthy and foul smelling regions of hell manifested before him. Overcome by the horrifying conditions around him, Yudhishthira asked to be taken back to heaven. But just at that moment, Yudhishthira heard the voices of his brothers and Draupadi calling out, "O virtuous one, do not leave us. Because of your presence, we are feeling a cool breeze coming towards us." Hearing this, Yudhishthira was amazed, and he thought to himself, "Am I awake or am I dreaming? How is it that all these virtuous people are here suffering so in this hellish world, while those terrible Parvas are enjoying heaven?" Then turning to the messenger, he said, "Go back to heaven alone. I will not desert my relatives. I would rather stay with them right here in hell." A short while after the messenger had returned to heaven and reported these events, Dharmaraja, accompanied by other gods, came to the spot where Yudhishthira and his brothers were abiding in hell. As soon as these celestial beings appeared, the whole scene changed. Where there had been blazing fire, a nectarine stream began to flow. Where there had been torture chambers, a garden with blossoming flowers appeared. Where hot winds had been scorching the atmosphere, gentle breeze brought in a thrill of refreshing coolness. All traces of hell had disappeared, and Yudhishthira and his brothers were all decked in the dazzling attire of heaven. Krishna was there, shining effulgent as Lord Vishnu, and Draupadi appeared as the radiant Lakshmi. Bhima was seated by the wind god, Arjuna by Indra, Nakul and Sahadev by the Ashwini Kumaras, and Bhishma by the Vasus. Dharmaraja then explained to Yudhishthira that all souls depart from the mortal world with a blend of positive and negative karmas, and therefore they must spend time in both heaven and hell in order to exhaust those karmas. The Pandavas, because of their virtue, had been required to spend only a brief period of time in hell, and then they would abide in heaven for a long, long time. The Kauravas, on the other hand, had gone first to heaven to enjoy for a short time only the fruits of their few good karmas. Then they would be sent to the hellish world for a long time until their abundant negative karmas were exhausted. After Yudhishthira's brothers were released from their hellish condition and began to enjoy heavenly glory, Dharma informed Yudhishthira that he was very pleased with him because he had now passed all three tests of his virtue. The first in his encounter with the Yaksha bird besides the lake, the second in his insistence that the dog enter into the heaven, and the third, when he was willing to renounce heaven and remain in hell to be of service to his family members. Through all these tests, Yudhishthira proved that pursuit of dharma was far more important to him than personal enjoyment or fulfillment of his egoistic desires. Jai Shri Krishna. So we will continue this episode in tomorrow's satsang. Hari Om Tat Sat.